All right. Well, welcome, Wendy. I am really happy to have you on today because one is that our master webinars have always been just me talking about different things and health benefits and different things that are kind of questions that people have, ingredients on skincare and things like that. So this is the first webinar where we're actually having a guest, and I can tell you everybody seems pretty excited. We're having a great turnout and it looks like it's going to be a really fun class. So welcome.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Okay, so let's actually, one of the things that I have been following you for a long time, and there was a couple of things in your bio that I actually was not familiar with. So I actually think to just kind of let people know a little bit about your background and your expertise and things like that, maybe we can start off with first reading that, a little bit about you. So Wendy Myers is a detox expert, functional diagnostic nutritionist, certified holistic health coach, certified bioenergetic practitioner, is a doctoral candidate, and the #1 best-selling author of Limitless Energy, How to Detox Metals to End Exhaustion and Chronic Fatigue. And then Wendy also hosts a internationally ranked podcast, the Myers Detox Podcast, about protecting your health and detoxification. And you can find out more about Wendy from her myersdetox.com. All right, so a little bit about finding out some of these areas where I'm really interested in how you actually became a bioenergetic specialist and an energy medicine specialist. It's a fascinating background, and I'm sure there's a lot of details to that. So tell us about that.
Yes, well, you know what, it kind of started with my fascination with, like looking into my own health issues and trying to figure out what was going on. And I felt like I had exhausted everything physically that I could do. Like I was eating an amazing diet, I was taking amazing supplements, I was exercising, I was doing all the stress reduction stuff and just on and just spending my whole day being healthy. And I still felt like crap. And so I was just on my own journey to feel good and to wake up with joy every day. I would go to different health conferences, and I met a guy named Harry Massey, who's the founder of NES Health, NES Health. And this is a bioenergetics company. They have software that scans your whole body. And so that's where I became a practitioner. And then also in that journey, learned about how, all of our communications happen in our energy field. That's where the majority of communication happens in our body. There's trillions of things that happen every second. And then I discovered that, EMF, or electromagnetic fields, from cell phones, wireless computers, 5G satellites, etc., anything electric, impacts our body's energy field. And so I got more interested in, how to protect our energy field. And that's what we're going to talk about today on the webinar, on the masterclass.
Right. Yes. And actually is a really interesting field for me, just being in holistic medicine, where I do an assessment on my patients and just finding out what their stressors are. So I'm actually really excited to dive right into that. So let's actually start with, what the biggest assaults are on our energy field with the EMFs and the electromagnetic fields, the EMFs, and also, what the exposure is that is absolutely increasing at this rapid race or pace rather.
Yes. Yeah. So some of the biggest assaults on our bodies and our health from EMF are obviously our cell phones. And we also have, cell phone towers everywhere, especially if you live in an urban area. There's so many cell phone towers. Like when I lived in Los Angeles, I had 500 cell phone towers within a 1 mile radius of me. I was absolutely shocked. It might've been like a 10-mile radius, I forget, but it was a lot within a very small amount of, distance from my home. Also electric wires. Like, so also in my home, I had an electric pole that had all these electric wires feeding all the homes in my neighborhood. You also have your smart meter. which is the meter that measures your electricity. That can send out a pulse 25 miles. If that's in the wall where your head is sleeping at night, near your head, that's really bad for your brain waves, for your ability to sleep. We also have our computers that we're on every single day. Most of us are in front of our computers a majority of the day. Then you have anything that's plugged into a wall. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And then we have these 5G satellites. There's a couple hundred being launched into the atmosphere every single month. Testing with those for Starlink. Elon Musk's Starlink started last August. So some people may have had like increased anxiety and fatigue and depression and heart palpitations and things with sleep issues that they may just attribute to life stressors. And so a lot of the symptoms of EMF, people don't realize what it's from. And there's some people that are very, very debilitated from EMF, and they don't realize that they just have this mystery illness and nobody can figure it out. And so for me, my passion is educating people about this very real threat to your health and what it can do to you and how to protect yourself.
Right. It is hugely significant, and I don't really, it's almost hard to fathom how the impact can really affect our body. You mentioned a couple of symptoms, with the anxiety, fatigue, some of these symptoms that people wouldn't even associate with something like that vibrational frequency of the 5G, or just constantly having the cell phone next to them and things like that. There's, I'm sure, a host of illnesses I know I see in my practice. What do you familiar with as far as like different even illnesses or some other symptoms that people might see?
Yeah, so most notably, I think, is sleep disturbances. I think because it's a part of the way that EMFs affect us. So they're electromagnetic fields. So there's information traveling on these energy waves. And that's how our body works. We have waves in our body. Our heart sends out a wave 10 feet in diameter around us. Our brain, we have brain waves, beta and theta waves that are being sent out, and EMFs interrupt those signals because they're a lot stronger than our body's own signals. So people start having heart palpitations because the information sent out from our heart is interrupted. So our heartbeat gets interrupted, our brain waves get affected, so our sleep gets affected, our concentration, people can have brain fog. Because this is such kind of an assault on our body, we can start having fatigue. It's like it just drains our battery. It also disrupts the cellular function, our cell membranes. Our cell membranes have a charge on them. And so we need to be grounded. Our bodies are electrical. We need to have a negative charge. And so the frequencies from EMF start eliciting more of like a positive charge on our body. It ungrounds us. So just in general, our whole metabolism is affected, negatively impacted. So nutrients getting into our cells, toxins getting out of our cells, are just our body's ability to produce energy. Our mitochondria's ability to produce energy is affected. So fatigue is a very real issue with this. Anxiety, depression, our digestion, anything that takes energy in our body, brain function, digestion, etc., is affected. We also get cancers. That's very well established in the research, especially childhood leukemia is something that's definitely on the rise. Tumors, be they malignant or benign. There's just a whole host of symptoms. Children can have, attention deficit disorder and things like that. There's just so many things. Fertility, but women can have fertility issues, reproductive issues, just because our whole body's communication system is being disrupted. People can have blood sugar control issues. There's just a huge list.
Yeah. We could go on and on and on with that list. And, what's interesting to me is that we've known about the EMFs causing cancer. One of the first studies that was done on police officers who were using the gun to measure speed, and they were keeping the gun in their lap. And they were getting testicular cancer. And the amount of EMFs that came from that particular device are a fraction of what they are today. Like you were talking about the 5G. I mean, people don't really think, oh, 3G to 5G, but the magnitude of 3G to 5G is exponential. It's like way beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think people don't realize also that, people buy these EMF meters to detect EMF in their home, which is a great idea because people can be surprised by how much EMF is being emitted to, like, by the TV in their bedroom, when it's not even on. Just the Bluetooth for the wireless remote, it's not even on, and it's emitting tons of radiation while you're sleeping. So there's other things, like even if you like protect your whole home and make it kind of like a cocoon, and you can have like this EMF meter trying to figure out what's going on with you. Those don't detect the radiation coming from these 5G satellites. And there's video satellites, like Bill Gates owns a company called SoftLink that has video satellites that are going up. Jeff Bezos from Amazon has his own satellites going up. Elon Musk, there's a competition for the skies going on right now. And so those are emitting a lot. So no matter what you do to protect yourself, there's still a huge threat that's going on, blanketing the entire planet in the ability to communicate anywhere. So there's a lot of places in the world that can't afford the infrastructure to put cell phone towers every 20 feet. So they're replacing that technology with satellites. And so this is just a threat that's going to be increasing in our environment. There's a lot of countries that have outlawed it. I forget, I think it's either Belgium or Denmark has outlawed 5G until further notice because of its impact on birds and bees and other wildlife. But other countries are just not as protective of their citizens. So it's up to you to protect yourself.
Right. Yeah. And when we're actually talking about in our, like my group here being, True Energy, we're all about, anti-aging or really aging gracefully and, utilizing the tools that we can that really help for the anti-aging. And I think that one of the things that we're talking about is what really happens on a cellular level. People are living longer and longer and longer, but that doesn't mean they're not sicker and sicker and sicker. So, that anti-aging component is a really on a cellular level presenting itself, not just with our illness, but our skin as well, is so significant.
Yeah, because the EMF is very dehydrating. And so that's one thing that's been found, very, very dehydrating, can cause blood sugar issues, which is very aging. If you have high blood sugar, you're not able to control your blood sugar. Not to mention, like I mentioned, it reduces your overall energy, which will reduce your body's ability to protect itself, its immunity to fight free radicals and things like that. I think your body spends a lot of time dealing with free radicals and things that are produced by toxins like EMF. And it's just an energy drain. You just don't have as much energy as you should because you're fighting this invisible toxin, So it's definitely aging for sure.
Right. Yeah. And when you talk about that free radical component, I think one of the things that is so significant in the aging process of a cell is how not just how healthy a cell is in a given moment, but it's like you were saying, its ability to take in nutrients as well as detox, and then also the lifespan of an actual cell. And so the weaker the cell is, the shorter the lifespan, the more we age, the faster we age, and that shows up on our skin. So
absolutely.
Yeah, really, really excellent point in that whole process. So you have some ideas on, some things that people can do to lower their exposure. I know that we wanted to talk about, everybody's really kind of interested in getting to your, to that Harmony Pendant and how that works. And because we're a frequency-based group, I'm really excited to talk about it because you're amongst friends when it comes to frequencies. But let's first go back and talk, about some of the other things that you were thinking that might be, beneficial as well.
Yeah, so there's some basics you can do to protect yourself. So the farther away a device is from you, the better, because distance will reduce the exposure. So for me, I have a policy, I keep my phone 3 feet away from me. And so that's, and I also, I turn it off, I put it in the airplane mode when I'm not using it. I don't charge it next to my bedstand at night. I charge it in the other room, because that electricity, plugging it in, will release a lot of dirty electricity from the phone, even though maybe you're not thinking about that. You're just maybe thinking about what's being emitted from the phone. I also, like I said, don't keep it near my bedstand. If I have to, for whatever reason, I put it on airplane mode. Other things that you can do: turn your Wi-Fi router off at night. You don't need it at night when you're sleeping, and you don't want that bathing your whole body, your whole family, and in this radiation when you're not even using it. You can also get like a plug, like a timer. They're like $5. You can get a timer, so it just turns off at a certain time every night and turns on. So it's a little bit more convenient, because you just kind of don't remember to do it. It's just one of those things, unless you're like have a checklist before you go to bed, you end up just, you don't remember. There's also Wi-Fi routers that just turn off when they're not in use, generally. So those are really handy. I forgot the name of it, but they're online. There's other things you can do, like don't have your computer in your room. Make sure you unplug appliances when you're not using them. Like, so my TV, I have a TV in my bedroom, but I unplug it when I'm not using it, because the Bluetooth for the remote still is emitting radiation, because that connection, that's, you see like a little red light, your TV's off, there's a little red light on it. That's the Bluetooth. So unplug all these appliances when you're not using them. Don't carry your cell phone in your pocket, or near your body. If you don't need to get all your texts every 5 minutes, you know what I mean? You can put it on airplane mode, and even airplane mode is not, you can still be getting some radiation. You have to turn the Bluetooth, turn airplane on and turn the Bluetooth off as well. So you have to be aware of that too. And there's different devices you can get to protect your home. Like, there's devices you can get to put on your cell phone to protect you a little bit. There are like little, like the Fender Shield, it has like a little fanny pack that you can put your phone in that protects, so you can carry it with you, and it protects you from the radiation. There are, Defender Shield also have these pads you can put under your computer to absorb the radiation being emitted by the computer. Nothing's 100%. No. But every little bit helps. I also really like it's called blueshield.ca. They've got something called the Cube that in 3 different ways it helps deflect, diffuse the EMF coming into your home. That'll protect your entire home. So that's also really fantastic. You want to make your home a cocoon, where your body can rest and regenerate. Because I think the problem right now is because of all the different forms of EMF and all the other types of stressors that people have, people's bodies just, they don't get a break. They don't get a break from stress. They don't get to have fully regenerative sleep. They don't have an off switch. And that's why people are so stressed. And that's why people don't heal as well. When people are chronically ill, chronically fatigued, they just don't have an opportunity to regenerate. So you've got to create this cocoon in your home and protect yourself from these devices. And I know it's a pain to like have to, I was the same way. Like I was just doing everything for my health, working on the diet, working on the supplements, and reading all this stuff and listening to all the podcasts. And there's so much stuff you have to do to be healthy these days. It was just another rabbit hole that I didn't feel like getting into. But I've done all this research. And so those are a handful of things that are really handy. Like the phone stickers are really like Aries Tech. Those are really, really nice. And so those are great. But when you leave your home, so you go to your office or out shopping, it's nice to have something that is on your body that protects your whole body, not just like the individual devices. So the Harmony Pendant is great in that respect, because it's just, it's optimizing your energy field. So it's, less impacted by the stressful effects of EMF and other types of frequencies. Also, there's also radio towers, and there's all different types of radiation out there that's impacting our body. And so we did a study with about 100 different patients with 8 different doctors. and found that on average, the pendant protected people from the stressful effects of EMF by about 48% on average. And we think that would be more. We only tested people, they'd only been wearing the pendant for 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. And then we tested them, before their heart rate variability, which is a big, a very accurate measure of stress called HRV. We tested people before wearing the pendant and then after wearing it for about 5 or 10 minutes. But we think it takes the body time to kind of take in new information and make physical changes. So if we'd had the pendant on people for 30 minutes or an hour or even longer, we think it'd be a lot more change. But still, every little bit helps. But more importantly, people had a lot of different improvements in their heart rate variability. They had a 700% improvement in their heart rate variability on average, which is huge, because the heart rate variability is a more important factor for longevity than smoking, than having a healthy diet, than just a lot of heart disease, diabetes. There's all these different factors that the heart rate variability is the biggest determining factor in longevity out there. It's the best measure. And so there's a lot of other different interesting things that we found in the study, but you can find that on our website too, the study.
I have actually, in my clinic, we use heart rate variability. And in fact, it actually looks like the same platform based on the images that I saw. And it is a key factor when we do an initial intake. That is the first thing we do, because it gives us a baseline. We do a set of treatments, and then we put them back on the HRV to see their improvement, because like you said, it's one of the best ways to really measure cell repair, cell function. It's the frequency and the energy of how the body moves that energy. And I was looking through your data, and it's really, really impressive. I actually wouldn't mind doing a quick screen share. Becky can pop up the website in a minute, but I'd like to actually do a quick screen share, because this right here is unbelievable. This is a baseline where this is how your energy should look, optimally, and then exposed to EMFs. So it brings in, it's not only changes the color, but it also changes the field of your body. It decreases every factor to that energy field, as well as when you put that pendant on. And I'm not sure how long this pendant was on for this particular HRV, because I'm sure there's several of them, but
it was only 5 or 10 minutes.
Really?
Only 5 or 10 minutes. Yeah.
That is spectacular, and the other is that this one, we do a lot of brain and brain function in our office as well. And these red and almost black spots in the brain are so significant to not just the emotion, not just the physical health of the brain, but emotions and how they process, and depression, and of course the aging. So when you can take that and see that EMF stress, and then put that pendant on for such a short period of time, and it actually changed the brain, it takes me many treatments to change that, to change a brain from from that red and black spots to green.
Yeah. And that's what's great about the pendant, is because I think that it's really instrumental in very quickly reducing people's stress.
Right.
And it does that by optimizing the body's energy field. So optimizing this blueprint from which the physical body takes instruction, because that's how the physical body works. It takes instructions from the information in the energy field. So the pendant has information imprinted onto it that it kind of improves, sends information to the energy field, optimizes the energy field. So the physical expression dramatically improves over the 3 or 4 days after you put on the pendant. But this is a change just in 5 to 10 minutes that you're seeing in this study. And there's lots of other improvements we saw as well. I mean, people saw an improvement, like a 530% improvement on average in their mitochondrial power and energy reserves.
Right.
People saw increase in total energy beyond the baseline. Their biological age lowered by 2 years on
Right.
average. Overall markers of health improved by 138%. It enhanced the body's biophoton field or light body that's used by the mitochondria to produce energy on average by 140%.
Right.
It reduced energy output dipping into the negative on average by 80%, enhanced the body's autonomic regulation by 310%,
Oh
improved the
my
body's
goodness.
biorhythms and circadian rhythms on
Right.
average by 160%. And that's why we see people, we've had thousands of people leave reviews. The number one improvement people report is improvements in sleep
Yeah.
and improvements in fatigue. They say they can sit in front of their computer all day and not be tired like they were before. And people just overall feel better because they just don't have this constant like energy drain. This thing that's
Right.
just this invisible toxin that's just draining their energy. People also have reduction in pain. They've also reported because they're just optimizing their energy field. So maybe it's scrambling those pain signals to a certain degree.
Right.
Just a lot of other improvements that people have reported, and those are all on harmonypendant.com.
Right, right, right. Okay. Yeah. So, and then I think that also the exciting part about that is that, you've got the study to back it, which is what really impressed me, because there's a lot of, devices in the market, but to actually be able to measure it. And when we're talking about energy field, biophoton frequencies and energy of our body, we're not necessarily talking about something like, oh, I can feel my body vibrating at that particular energy. It's all the way down into that cellular level that just determines what your body does in a month, 6 months, a year, 5 years from now, that make the difference when you can get that frequency and that vibrational energy to match like the healthiest possible cell. So I really love the study behind it, because that's kind of just my jam anyway, is just some validation. So that to me was the most impressive part, and one of the reasons why I wanted to, reach out to you and, and also bring you on, because everybody from the True Energy community is really, really health conscious. And a lot of them take really good care of themselves. But I know we're all interested in how our cells age, and to, to mitigate that whole aging process, because we're aging way too quickly in today's society.
Absolutely. And one other thing I wanted to say about the pendant is it potentiates anything else you're doing for your health.
Right.
Because you're optimizing your body's communication system, your energy field, you end up having better digestion. So some people need less supplements than what they're taking. They absorb the food that they're eating better, all that expensive organic food they're eating. People also start detoxing. So some people on the pendant and they're like, whoa, what's going on here? They might feel a little bit worse. If that happens, sometimes people need to take binders because their body is detoxing. It's finally getting the energy that it needs to start releasing toxins. So that's something that happens to very few people. But if that does happen, it's just a sign you maybe need some binders. Sometimes their supplements actually start working how they're supposed to, and that starts detoxing their body. If they're taking minerals, if they're taking B complex vitamins or other things, they actually begin working because, the pendant, like I said, optimizes the energy field. The body starts, the digestion starts working better. People start sleeping better.
Right.
Everything just kind of kick starts and gets going, and people are like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" And so some people feel much better wearing the pendant. Some people kind of have an adjustment period where they need a few days to start, to figure out they need a few days to kind of adjust to the pendant.
Right.
Because some people
Right.
can start, when they first put the pendant on, like from my experience,
Yeah.
for instance, I put the pendant on within 30 minutes. I was very stressed at the time. And within about 30 minutes, I was yawning. I was about to fall asleep. And that's because my stress level had come down so much that my body was ready to go to sleep. And some people don't like that. They think that
Right.
there's something wrong and this is making me feel
Oh,
tired, but it's just
good
your
point.
body finally getting into that parasympathetic mode instead of this constant stress, fight or flight mode. You're finally, your body's able to kind of calm down. So there's just like an adjustment period. But if people have questions, they can always email us, if you click on the link that you guys have, there's a support email and you guys can ask whatever questions that you have or concerns that you have.
Okay, great. Yeah, I know that, when you're talking about that sympathetic and parasympathetic, it is a known fact that we do not heal when we're in sympathetic stress mode, where the bear's chasing us all the time with all of the different things in our life that are constant. That's save my life mode. So that parasympathetic is really the only place where we do heal and digest and get that opportunity to rest. So that's great. I love that. I love that story, that experience.
And that's the biggest hurdle when someone is trying to get better. What I found is people will go, they'll go do yoga, and then right after yoga, they're back to their high stress set point.
Right.
And that's the problem. That's one of the biggest kind of hurdles to overcome when you're trying to get better, or a loved one's trying to get better. You have to reduce that stress level. And the pendant works so beautifully and easily to do that and keep your stress level down on a consistent basis. And you can also see this. I've had many, many practitioners say that wear an aura ring and they track their HRV, they track their deep sleep, and people just email me with their little experiments they're doing. So they track their HRV before, they've been doing it for a while before getting the pendant, put the Harmony Pendant on, and then they see their HRV improves, their deep sleep improves, and they take the pendant off and they see that it gets worse.
Right.
And then their deep sleep is reduced, and they put the pendant back on, they see it improve again. So it's really, really interesting. So the pendant, if you wear it on a consistent basis, you don't have to wear it 24 hours a day, just at least an hour or two a day. I love mine. I don't take mine off except when I sleep or I'm going in the ocean or I'm showering. That's I take mine off, but you can really just wear it an hour or two a day and get the benefits of, optimizing your energy field. But yeah, so it's one of those things that does overcome a huge hurdle to people getting better if they are trying to heal from chronic illness or chronic fatigue.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. And one of the things that, like for me, I like to put my pendant next to me when I sleep because I know I'm still in the energy field of it.
Yeah, that works too. Totally.
Yeah. So I still, so that way it's just not on my neck, but it's close enough, right? Yeah. What's kind of interesting too is that the energy and the frequencies and the imprinting and, other than the HRV and that validation, it's very much like the wand that a lot of my customers are already familiar with. So that anti-aging, that natural facelift, we use a wand, and that wand is imprinted with different frequencies to do all of that, the similar types of things but designed more for anti-aging than, being able to actually wear some jewelry that can protect your body all the time. But it's a familiar language, and I think the people who have been on are really recognizing the familiarity and the of how you created that is really clever, very, very, very smart way to do that.
Yeah, because you can imprint anything. You can imprint information on waves, scalar waves. You can imprint information in salt water, just regular water, and you can imprint information in objects. And so that's what we've done with the Harmony Pendant.
Right. Yes, but it's your secret sauce that makes a difference.
Yes.
Okay. Well, so one of the things that we were able to do also is to be able to negotiate a good pricing for the customers. And I really appreciate you in making the offer that you have. And if you haven't already gone on the link, it's pretty nice. I super appreciate that. I really feel like you went over and beyond on that offer. But you should definitely click on that because what Wendy has is she's got 3 different offers because in just kind of my experience with Wendy, she likes to protect the family as well. Family is really important. So I noticed that you've got a family bundle as well.
Yeah, because it's important to, also protect your children because they're really very vulnerable with they've got their blood-brain barrier is more sensitive
Right.
than adults who've already developed and they're around their devices. The kids are on their devices all the time.
Mm.
So it's really important to protect yourself, but also your family as well. And I also had a lot of wives kind of complain their husband doesn't want to wear it. You can put it under their pillow at
Right.
night and I don't even have to know.
Right.
So
It's
you
in
can do
the
that with your
pillowcase.
kids yeah, you can do that with your kids as well if maybe
Yeah.
they're just too young or they don't want to
Yeah.
wear it or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So there's ways around that.
Right. That's a good 7 to 9 hours, depending on the
Yeah.
age, right?
Yeah, it's enough. It's enough. And so what I do is I put the pendant facing down, so the icon facing away from the body, if that's the case, so that the icon would be like on the mattress. So you
Right.
want that kind of facing away from the body. But yeah, so I want to just give everyone a good deal. Like the more that you get, the better deal that you get. And
Right.
there's also on that link, there's more information about the study that you can look at. And just more information like testimonials of Elle McPherson wears our pendant. We have lots of very big health influencers
Right.
that wear our pendant as well. Dr. Eric Zielinski, Dr. Jockers. There's just a lot of different
Yeah.
influencers that are
Yeah.
wearing it and advocate for the pendant as well.
You know what was amazing about that too is that you just put the pendant out there and everybody start coming to you with their testimonials and their stories, and they're like, you're like, okay, we have an HRV study, but people were so impressed that they just like came flooding into you.
We have I think almost 4,000 reviews on the website. And so
Wow.
there's a lot.
Yes.
And they're not all positive. I mean, some people don't feel anything. Like there's a lot of people out there. We have some reviews that are negative, but we have 100% money back guarantee. If you're not
Right.
happy at any time, we
Oh, wow.
refund your money. We're not, trying to pull anything here, but the proof is in the pudding. We have thousands of reviews.
Right.
And so if there's people out there, they're just not really very in touch with their body. They put the pendant on, they don't really feel any changes. And so they
Right.
think it's not working. But just because you don't feel something working, you may have not felt the EMF before.
Right.
But it is impacting your body and your
Right.
brainwaves, whether or not you can feel that or not.
Right.
So a lot of people might put on the pendant and not feel anything, but it doesn't mean it's not working. You can measure the changes. You can measure the improvements in your HRV, even though you're not really going to feel that. Some
Yeah.
people that are energetically sensitive do notice a huge difference. Like Dr. Ann Louise Gittleman was really taken aback by how much better she felt wearing the pendant. A lot of very energetically sensitive people out there. But like I said, not everyone is going to feel like lightning struck them when they put on the pendant, but it does work regardless of whether you feel it or not.
I mean, like you said, the proof is in the pudding because, to me, it's measurable. But on the other side, what I've also found is that people who live a really healthy lifestyle, who are actually healthy and they wear it, sometimes don't feel it because it's not such a huge contrast.
Yeah, they're so healthy already. Yeah.
Right. But if you know that you're increasing your vibrational frequency for a healthier cell, then, the way I like to think of that is that I'm doing something, for myself for the future. We don't exercise for, tomorrow. We exercise for being able to, be 80, 90 years old and still feel like we can, we have some vitality.
Yeah. And what I have, people have told me, and what I noticed myself is when I first started wearing the pendant, I was like, doing push-ups and sit-ups and walking. I was able to walk a lot farther, much easier. I was able to do way more push-ups than I normally did, way more sit-ups than I normally did. And I have 2 personal trainers. Both of them started wearing the pendant. They broke these are guys that have been lifting weights for 10 years. They broke all of their records for weightlifting and beyond when they first started wearing the pendant.
Right.
We also have UFC fighter Gabriel Burns wearing the pendant. He had 2 knockouts, the first ever he's ever had after he started wearing the pendant. We have lots of professional athletes wearing it, improving their running time. So people if they are paying attention, they will see improvements in their performance.
Right. Yeah, actually, that's a really good point for like the other side is, not just not sleeping or feeling sick and having digestive issues and feeling better, but actually feeling good and being able to get that much more out of your life. And that actually is a really great indication for cellular repair. All of those, all of those things that you're talking about, because being able to rebound and being able to perform at a higher level has so many different factors. But it's that how fast do your cells repair, and how fast does your body like dump toxins from a lot of the things that we do, like running and weightlifting and boxing. You create a lot of toxins, and so your body has to detox that as well. So you're speeding up the detox factor too. So I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think people definitely have improved recovery as well. Everything just improves. You're optimizing your body's functioning,
Right.
Wearing the pendant. And so you just see a lot of benefits as a result.
Right. Well, I know there are some people who have some questions for you. They've been typing away. So let me just take a quick look on the side here. Hi, Wendy, I'm a big fan. I have a lot of thyroid nodules and a huge goiter. How will the pendant affect this?
Yes. Well, the pendant's not going to reverse illness or anything like that, but it will optimize your body's, energy reserves, and, just improve your body's ability to produce energy and, mitigate the harmful effects of EMF. So it's just going to potentiate anything that you're doing to improve your health. It will potentiate that. Like if you're taking nutrients for your thyroid, if you are taking thyroid medication, it'll absorb better. So you still have to do things like adjust the goiter. Like usually you have iodine deficiency. That's usually what causes a goiter. But when you're taking iodine, it'll actually absorb a lot better when you're wearing the pendant.
Right. I actually think that's a great way of putting it, because it's the body's ability to heal is such a huge factor. And I think when you're talking about something that increases your energy fields and the neuroplasticity of your body learning healthy cell production rather than unhealthy cell production, that's a great way for your body over time to be able to get that information from wearing the pendant and knowing that it can replicate healthy vibrational frequency rather than replicating unhealthy vibrational frequencies. And that's kind of a weird part about the human body is that we'll replicate negative as easily as we replicate positive. So we need to give it the positive, so it has something to, have a model, if you will, to be able to, ride at that frequency and increase overall health, especially over time. So I like
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, we, like you mentioned, there's lots of negative information coming into our energy field, but you can combat that with putting correct operating instructions into your energy field as well. And there's a lot of different ways to do that.
Yes, I like that. I like that it's an operating system, right? And you plug it in with the frequencies, and they, like, if you will, it's like, a computer program, right? So you program the computer for optimal vibrational health and what a healthy cell is and what a healthy, organs are and things like that. And you give that to the human body. Energy medicine is definitely the only way we're going to get better in this society, for sure.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people listening, they've, done so much physically for their health. Like, you've done the diet and you're doing the exercise and you're in the yoga and you're, maybe taking medication, you're taking supplements. And I think people realize they reach a tipping point where they can't do more physically for their health, and they're not meeting their health goals. And for me, that's where I discovered energy medicine and using frequencies to improve my health. And that's really what got me all the way home to meeting my health goals. But not only that, but just feeling good as well, working on emotional trauma and things like that. The way to do that is in your energy field.
Right, for sure. We're getting quite a few questions kind of based on a similar topic. And I think we've addressed it to a certain degree, but maybe you can expand on that. What makes this pendant different than everything out there that's, energy or EMF protection and things like that. For me, it's the research, but I'll let you go.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of different EMF protection devices out there, and they all work a little bit differently. It's like some devices outright block EMF. And there's some pendants out there that are using like minerals and things like that, but some of those minerals can give off their own radiation as well. That can be problematic.
Mhm.
The Harmony pendant works differently. It works there. It's been imprinted with information that optimizes the energy field. So it's not exactly, it's not like an EMF protector. It just optimizes your energy field so that you have you're kind of, you mitigate the stressful effects of EMF so that that EMF isn't impacting your energy field. It's not able to penetrate your energy field and disrupt it and cause all this kind of like disharmony in your energy field,
Right.
interrupt the native signals, the native operating instructions and messages that your heart is sending to their pancreas and your brain is sending to your central nervous system. EMFs interrupt that communication. So by optimizing the energy field and kind of creating this, I don't want to say invisible force field, but just optimizing the energy field, you're protected from these stressful effects of EMF that are interrupting all the trillions of communication happening in your body at every second. So
Right.
they work differently in that way. There's some devices out there, like say the Blue Shield Cube,
Mhm.
that will use scalar waves. It'll emit the Schumann's resonance,
Right.
which is the Earth's native frequency. It's that grounding frequency that's at roughly at 7.4 to 10 hertz.
Right.
And so it'll emit that to kind of combat the harmful frequencies like the 5G frequencies. It also it works in a couple other different ways. The Blue Shield Cube works in like 3 different ways to kind of combat or block the EMF radiation as well. So, and there's just little stickers you can use that emit
Right.
different frequencies, but that's just the pendant actually has frequencies imprinted onto it.
Right.
So that's maybe how it works differently than other
Yeah.
devices.
Yeah. I actually see, I think that if you were, for example, using like a shield that had minerals or, even played, I mean, Schumann, you might see some differences, but I think the heart rate variability, the HRV testings on the before and after I cannot express the amount of the amount of impressed I am on that. But, and like I said, I use that in my office as a serious measuring gauge on how somebody's overall systems are doing in multiple ways. And I think that is kind of the bottom line for me is that with the imprinting of frequencies, to have your body to resonate with those frequencies so that it actually can repair and then show up on the HRV, unbelievable. I love
Yeah,
that.
and a lot of the doctors, or all the doctors in the study, also use this HRV measuring software
Mhm.
that we use. They use it in their practice to
Right.
see if the modalities they're using are working or not. They use baseline
Yep.
and then test after the modality. And all of them were very beyond impressed with the results of simply wearing the Harmony pendant, and had the amount of improvement that people had in such a short period of time. And it's so easy to use. All you have to do is wear it. It looks like a cool piece of jewelry. And so it's a very easy thing to do that, like I said, it helps to anything else you're doing for your health. It also potentiates that as well, because it reduces your stress so that the other things you're doing actually will work better.
Right. Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Um, I know when you get your pendant, you'll get some instructions on how to initiate it and, to recharge it. There's people who already have your pendant who are really excited and, asking if they need to recharge it every week or.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you want to do is when you first get it, you have there's a little card inside that gives you, activation instructions. So
Right.
all you're doing it is holding it about a foot from your heart, your sternum. So you want to hold that out about a foot from your sternum. And that just sends the information. There's geometry in the pendant. And that's also sending information to your body to optimize your energy field. You do that in the beginning. You do that about once a week. And you can also do it anytime you don't feel good, anytime you kind of feel off. You can also do that activation process again at any time. You can do it every day if you want. You can't do it too much, but it just optimizes how the pendant works. It will still work even if you just put it on and start wearing it, but it just works better if you do the activation process. You're just communicating that information to your body.
Right. It kind of makes it yours.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can clear, like you can't wear a pendant for a little while and then just give it to somebody else, but you can put it in like a selenite bowl and that will clear like all the, your frequencies off the pendant or whatnot. So you can do that before you give it to somebody else.
Right. Yeah. That's actually one of the things that I've noticed with it is that when I first got it, I held it and I felt like a certain vibrational energy, and then I charge it from my body, and it increased the vibrational frequency. That almost felt like it was like just a little faster, which is my personality, and just a little buzzy. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It's definitely mine,
Yeah.
So people are asking about the health issues, immune and digestion. I think the same answer that Wendy gave for that, which is that it's all about increasing your function so that your body can do what it's supposed to do to heal itself.
Yeah, you need energy to heal. You have to reduce stress to heal. So it doesn't matter what the issue is, improving those two things are going to help you to recover from whatever the issue or symptom is.
Right. And then, like Wendy had mentioned before, if you do get the pendant, even if you've had it for weeks, and you're like experiencing some like difficulty sleeping with it on, you can just take it off while you're sleeping. Like I think Wendy, in my mind, what you were suggesting as well is if you're really toxic or really sick or super, super sensitive, you might want to start with just wearing it 2 hours a day and then build up.
Exactly. Yeah. Some people just, they need to start really slow with it, because you start regulating, your body starts, working properly. It starts working better. But the side effect of that is it starts going to town with this new energy. And that usually means detoxification symptoms, which people don't like.
Right.
So it doesn't mean it's making you worse. It means it's making your body actually work.
Right. And that's actually your specialty is detox. And we know how important that is to the body. So if your body's detoxing and you do get some symptoms and you do have diarrhea or just get some symptoms, celebrate that, because that means your body's kicking in.
And it's a sign it's working. It's a sign it's doing something. It's not making you worse. The pendant will not make you worse. It will not make you sick.
Right.
The only thing it's doing is optimizing your body's energy field. That's it. And so there's side effects to that, when your body starts working. So just take some binders, like my CitraCleanse. You can take charcoal, you can take zeolites, you can drink more water, rest, things like that, sweat. And those will help to kind of, get those toxins moving.
Right. Okay. They're looking at the website. So small versus large versus gold versus, the newer version of the pendant versus the older version of the pendant. Anything there?
Yeah, they all work the same. There's only one version of the pendant.
Oh, okay.
So there's only one version of the Harmony Pendant. So they're all on like the link that you provided.
Yes.
And there is another pendant out there called Harmony with a Y pendant. That's not the same pendant.
Okay. Good to know.
That's a different one. So
okay.
So the round pendant is the Harmony Pendant.
Okay. And there's no the chain is not particularly, if you want to put it on a different chain, that's fine.
Oh yeah, you can put on a different chain. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
All right. So yeah, actually, this is a good question, is if we're wearing the pendant, do we still need to be diligent about turning off routers and turning off cell phones? And
yes, yeah, you do, because there's nothing that's 100% protection. So every little bit helps, but you still need to mitigate EMF in your environment. Right. So I don't want people to get any kind of false sense of security. There's a lot of benefits of the pendant other than EMF mitigation, but you still want to be diligent about with your phone and with doing some research on investigation in your home about where you might be having EMF exposures and turning those off. And, we're going to have a course pretty soon about how to do that, like basic things on how to protect yourself. We don't have it yet,
okay.
But we will have that at some point. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's Fantastic. And some of the things that people are asking are things really in line with that, like going through the airport and the high radiation. It's like it is inevitable. It doesn't make a difference, whether you walk outside of your house, you're going to be exposed. So sometimes more intensely than other times, but that's what you're talking about, needing to wear that.
Yeah, because even if you make your home a perfect cocoon, the reality is you go to the shopping mall, you go to your office, you go to your friends' houses, and that you don't have the protection, but at least you have some with the Harmony Pendant.
Yeah. And I'm not even sure what a perfect cocoon would look like unless you're like really not communicating with the outer world too.
Yeah. I mean, like I have the Blue Shield and it's amazing. It protects the whole house. So that's really what I use. I have a device. I have the Aries Tech on my phone. So there's like little things that I do and every little bit helps.
Sure.
There's also Stetzer, like any dirty electricity coming out of your electrical outlet.
Yes.
They have these Stetzer plugs you can put in to stop that kind of bleed of that dirty electricity out of the outlets. You can go infinity with this stuff. For sure. There's like graphite paint. You can paint your bedroom in graphite paint if you want. That'll block all the EMF. There's all kinds of stuff you can do, but there's Faraday cages are great while you're sleeping. It's like almost like a mosquito net that has silver or copper wiring or threads in it that creates this cocoon while you're sleeping. That's really smart.
Yes, to do. That's a good travel one too. I think they make sweatshirts. Yeah. That's actually, I think that's the whole point, right? Is that we are so bombarded. It is so unavoidable that anything that you're doing to protect yourself is great. And then increasing your vibrational energy so that you also have your own personal defense as well. Yeah. Rebalancing your body. Someone was saying that they were a little nervous about wearing it because they're so sensitive. And I think maybe we already addressed that and just saying, put it on for 10 minutes, then an hour, then 2 hours. Yes.
Yeah. And it's good if you're sensitive, you'll feel the difference, and if you are sensitive, you may need this much more than someone who isn't as sensitive.
Right.
So don't let that kind of dissuade you from getting one or wearing one.
Right. Yeah. So people are wanting to know a little bit about all the different devices that are out there. And that, like you said, there are just so many. We could talk about that for a long time with all the research that's out there on actually, devices. And maybe we'll save that for another webinar to chat on, especially when you get your class up. So that would be a lot of fun. Let's see. Yeah, so the who should wear large and who should wear small. There's no energy.
It doesn't matter,
that, right?
It's just about your taste. It's what appeals to you. They don't work any differently. Right.
And let me just clarify one more time because we're getting a few questions on this. But will this protect against 5G and smart meters? This isn't a cloak. What it is it's a device that's imprinted with frequencies, which you're familiar with the true energy. It's imprinted with frequencies that help your body to vibrate at a healthy frequency so you can combat it. That's the whole thing is that we need our body like, Superman, where it can be strong in creating our own vibrational frequency that's a healthy one so we can fend off all of the assault and then the adverse effects of that assault.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. So I think that we've gotten to the end of the questions. And again, I really appreciate your making that offer for our customers. I was super excited to see that. And I think it's very generous. And I can tell you really, give from the heart on that. You want people to have the protection. So I appreciate that. Is there anything that you would like to add before we go?
Yeah. And also, as far as like EMF devices out there, I think the Harmony Pendant it's very inexpensive compared to a lot of devices out there. Plus it's very pretty. It's like functional jewelry. It's easy to use. And it's something that people, they want to wear it. They love wearing it. People notice it. Like I find that people notice it and they're really attracted to it. There's something about it.
Yes.
because it's doing much more than EMF mitigation.
Mm.
It's doing much, much more than that. And you can feel the difference. But like I said, we have 100% money back guarantee. There's no risk to you whatsoever. It just doesn't resonate for you or whatever. We do 100% money back guarantee. So I hope you guys would try one. And like I said, we have a really good offer for you. The more that you get, the bigger discount that we offer you.
Right. And we'll try to leave that offer up as long as we can. And then also we'll send out a replay of this, because I know there was like lots of little pieces of information, like how to clear a pendant, things like that. That we can with the replay, you can kind of go through it and catch what you need to. We were talking about being able to put it into the crystals, the bentonite crystals, so that it clears the frequency. So that was one of the ones that what was that, right? So we'll send out the replay. It'll have the link. Becky put up the link again for us. It's right at the bottom. This is a good time to go ahead and click on it, because we're going to go ahead and sign off on the webinar. So thank you, everyone. I totally appreciate you joining us. And thank you so much, Wendy. It was really a blast and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks you so much for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a great day.